Okay, I have a loss here that I just wanted to post some loss just to be like, I'm not always winning. But this was a totally winnable loss, and I want to go over videos like this because I'm still trying to de-rust, and I'm not very good at the game right now. So, this is
All units.
Under Arby's brute mirror on both sides, and I had decided before the game began that I was going straight for their Anders player. This is objectively the right choice in my mind. I'm always going to go straight for an Anders or a cutter because the longer that you allow an Anders or cutter player to stay in the game, the more and more dangerous they're going to get. And if you let them get to late game, they're going to have an insurmountable lead.
Complete.
So I believe I go straight into Banshee Rush build here. And I feel pretty confident, outside that Psycho Brute Chieftain that charged right in. I feel pretty confident that most players are not going to rush the Arbiter because, I could go Temple first. And here I do go Temple first, but...
Warehouse.
Okay, so this is different from my other Banshee Rush where I just go straight into Citadel. So I'm just building out pads, and I would was it supply pad and then Temple? Anyway, I don't feel very much at risk, especially if, and here I'm notifying them, yeah, I'm going straight for this Anders.
I am chosen. No more waiting.
Again, in my mind, this is objectively the correct decision. Anders gets Gosshog out really fast, and I want to harass this player as much as possible so that they have to do things like building turrets and wasting resources and things that are otherwise not helpful.
Warehouse upgraded. Base under attack.
What is needed?
So yeah, I'm just trying to clear this expo because I do want to expo. I'm thinking maybe this will go into late game, but I'm going to have a Banshee Rush harassment build. So I'm going to build out about 10 Banshees, and I'm just going to keep boosting between bases and harassing these players to keep them off balance and, get us into the later game. Because, and this is also going to, since I already got a summit up, I'm going to go into one of my favorite strategies, which is just to Banshee Rush in the beginning and then pump out vampires and ambush the enemy vampires. So here I'm kind of noticing that the Prophet on the other team is straight up rushing them. And now we've got the Arbiter on our Anders. And I totally understand this because I'm going right for their Anders as well. I totally understand why they're rushing our Anders. And this is one of the reasons that you need to get units on the field. Should not have used that D-bomb at that point.
Warehouse upgraded.
But yeah, you need to get units on the field. You need to get your reactor up so that you can get your Warthog gunner. This Anders player was not prepared for this. And, this could happen to me too if I'm just going straight into tanks. But I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go up here and I'm going to harass this Anders player. I'm going to look terrifying. But what do I run into but their Warthog rush? So I'm like, I'm going to cut these Warthogs down and help my side's Anders. This is the right decision because my Arbiter, these are delicious Warthogs. And then I'm like, you know what? I'll just let that one get away. So I'm going to go right back to the healing ring, and I think I deposit my Arbiter here. And I'm just going to go check to see. So this is actually a really bad rush. They're just doing a Prophet. Okay, Prophet, and so I told Chieftain to go after them because I'm going after Anders, so that one of them would recall. Yeah, this was a terrible rush, to be honest. I think only the Anders player was doing good. So Arbiter's gonna fight the Chieftain here. I don't know why that healing ring was dropped. If that was our Anders dropping it on the Brute Chieftain, ooh, I don't know how I feel about that.
All units.
So I'm checking there. How many Banshees do I have? I want to get about 5. I want to have boost research. So I got my second summit up. I'm going to double pump here. So once I have 5 and boost researched, I'm going to go in there. So yeah, I think that was our Anders dropping down the healing ring. This is something you should not do because the healing ring does not heal when a you know, your ally or your units is in a direct combat and taking damage. So I'm just pumping out more Banshees, getting ready for my counter push.
All units. All units.
Okay, I've got enough Banshees, I've got boost, and this Anders player is about to be my bitch. So we still got Prophet down there attacking our Anders, and that's just unfortunate that our Anders did not react there. So this Arbiter came down here, and one of my teammates was telling me, yo, the Arbiter got me, you know. I think it was the Chieftain, and I was like, nah, this Arbiter's a fraud. I'm gonna get him. And this is funny because his Arbiter is upgraded and mine's not. I haven't put anything in my Arbiter yet, and you know, I was like, I'm down in the healing ring and I'm waiting for this guy. So I've got this Banshee lead right now, and I'm stripping this pad. He's got a Warthog over here since I basically killed all of his Warthogs. So I'm just gonna demolish these Warthogs. Clearly, Anders player Green has another base, and Purple's like I'm gonna make another push on him. Now, I probably should have got the reactor from Purple Chieftain here so that I could research repeating cannon and just kept increasing my Banshee lead, and it would have been over. Yeah, so our Anders is pretty stripped down because our Anders didn't prepare. So I'm just going to keep pumping out my Banshee lead. And I'm like, yo, go for Teal. Get Teal to recall. I get cryo bombed here and lose, I think, 3 Banshees. But it doesn't matter because I'm still pumping out Banshees. I'm gonna have the Banshee lead. And so I'm coming up here. Anders has built a turret. I'm about to strip another pad. And I got 2 more. I got 3 more Banshees to come up there. So this one's being created, so I'm going to attack it. And then our Anders resigns because reasons.
Enemy engagement.
So he's back down here, and I'm like, yo, you're a fraud. So my Arbiter is going to hit this Arbiter with his dick a few times and take him out. And that'll be it. And so I'm going to get the healing ring on my Arbiter. And I probably should have went over to Red's base right away and stripped his temple. Because now he has to rebuild his Arbiter. But I'm kind of still focused on Anders here. And Teal has recalled because the Brute Chieftain went up there. So our Anders could have started rebuilding. So I finally get a clue, I think, and I'm like, okay, I should go right over to Red's base and strip his temple. Okay, so I take down a 3rd pad and boost right over to Red's base. I'm like, okay, so I've got to strip this temple so that he can't get his Arbiter back out on the field. Takes about a minute for a leader unit to be rebuilt. So I'm going to keep building up my Banshee lead, and I'm going to strip this temple. And I'm like, okay, can I get this before he gets it rebuilt? Okay, I guess their Anders player doesn't know what they're doing either. So I'm looking in the front to make sure that the Arbiter is not coming out. And I think right there, yeah, the Arbiter comes out. I'm like, darn. But I do strip the temple, and I'm going to move over to impassable terrain and pick up Defiant Rage. And somehow he's raging over impassable terrain. But I will get him. Yep, there he goes. So that's the second Arbiter I've gotten. And I'm going to strip this pad.
Defiant Rage research.
And he's going to try to rebuild his temple.
All units.
And then I boost back over to Anders. I probably should have boosted over to the Prophets and seen what's going on. So there's some elite honor guards here, and they're frauds too. So my Arbiter's going to take them out because this is his healing ring. And I'm going to pump out some more Banshees.
All units.
And I'm going to get the rest of them over here. I probably should have gone over to the other base because this Anders clearly has another base. And I think I'm trying to get them out of there, but they're not going to listen to me.
All units. All units.
So yeah, I do that, and they're like, no, we love turret fire. Turret fire is great. We're going to bathe in it. And I think this is where I lose my momentum.
All units.
And I don't know why this keeps happening to me because I'll get my units to not listen.
All units.
So I'm going to try to strip his second temple. Even though I've kind of lost my Banshee lead here.
All units.
So yeah, I think I made some errors here. I should have probably just kept out pushing at my Banshee lead and get the repeating cannon research, and I would have just soloed this one again.
All units.
So yeah, he's got another chieftain out. I actually don't know what's going on there. So I'm going to go over to Teal's base to see what's going on. He has an expo here, so I'm going to attack that. And Teal Prophet is going to recall.
All units. Enemy engagement.
What shall I do?
And I made a mistake and got my Arbiter out of there. I didn't mean to do that. So yeah, the red player is on his third Arbiter. I've stripped several pads. I've stripped a temple. I'm about to strip an expo.
Enemy engagement.
So we should have the lead by this point. So I'm going to boost back over to Red's base because I want to strip his temple again.
Ready to fight.
All units.
Boosters at maximum. For the Covenant.
And I kind of am forgetting that I'm playing an Anders here and that Cryo Bomb does recharge. So I'm going to get Cryo Bombed at this point, and the Arbiter is going to come back and attack my Banshees. So yeah, if I had just gotten up to 20 Banshees and yeah, he almost lost the second temple there though. I'm like, well shoot, the Arbiter is going to be right on me here. So I'm like, yeah, I've lost this, and it's just unfortunate.